would you like to make $10,000 an hour? Well, the concept I'm going to talk to you about today is kind of that. It's called the idea of $10,000 an hour work. And this is kind of a simple but really profound concept from Khe Hy that I learned about recently. And I want to share it with you because I think it's just a great check-in to see how are you spending your time and almost more importantly, your energy as you are building out the life that you want to live. Hey, I'm Brenna. I'm the Merch Nerd. As always, here to talk to you about integrating physical products in your quest to help your dream customers solve their most annoying problems. So let's get down to how to make $10,000 an hour. The dream. All right, it's not really about making $10,000 an hour, spoiler alert, but it is about how you focus your time and energy to build systems that help you get to an elevated, abundant place. So let's break it down, and I will link the article that a blog post where Khe Hy explains this in his own words. But I heard an interview with him recently, and I really just love this concept to kind of, again, almost do a day-to-day audit in how you're spending your energy, your focus, your time, and where you might get caught up in something that feels like it's really useful, but it isn't actually moving you towards your goal in the way that you think it is. So there are 4 categories here. And these are all based on kind of amount of impact and amount of leverage. So if you think about a quadrant, you have, skill and leverage. I was making sure I was saying that correctly. So you have some activities that are low skill and some activities that are high skill. You have some activities that are low leverage, meaning you don't get much out of them, and some activities that are high leverage, meaning you get a lot out of them. So your lowest leverage, lowest skill activities are your $10 an hour work. And the way Kai puts it is, this is the stuff you could do if you were hungover. So checking email is an example of low skill, low leverage work. In general, you're not making money when you check email, at least not directly. You're not triggering new projects. You're not triggering creative thought. You're not using your skill. Checking email is definitely something you could do exhausted, with a headache, with a cold, low skill, low leverage. And it can feel good because you get dopamine hits for doing it. You can feel very productive very quickly because you clear out 100 emails. And it's something that you need to do, but know it for what it is. It's not getting you much farther along. It's more taking care of business. The next level is where I know I get caught up, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs get caught up here. And this is the $100 an hour level. So it's high skill, but still low leverage. And yeah, I think most of us realize checking email is a necessary evil. At least to me, I hate checking email. But, these $100 an hour things can seem like they're really, really valuable, when in fact they may be just stealing, again, our time and our energy and our focus. And this could be things like tech tools and setting up really pretty Trello boards and messing around for too long in Canva to just really make that gorgeous presentation. This is where we kind of can really get caught up in the weeds of messing around with AIs that, of course, we're all really excited about, and maybe scared about what AI can do, but kind of getting caught up in the 1,200 different AI programs and which one's better and which one's worse. Again, I know that this is an area I get sucked into, looking at, doing comparisons between all the different website managers out there to figure out which one is the best for what I specifically need or what I think you can benefit from. Getting caught up in, for me right now, I just keep going back to the fundamentals of marketing, and that's not my main goal, but I kind of end up cycling over that over and over again. And there are a lot of people that teach that well already. So you don't need me to teach that to you in depth. You need me to add on the merch piece, or at least that's what I see the need for in the world. But that $100 an hour stuff, again, it feels good, and it's not obviously $10 an hour. It has skill involved, but you're not getting paid for it. And that's kind of your check there is, am I making money by doing this? Am I directly making money by doing this? And unless you are paid to set up people's Notions boards, you're probably not. Now, the $1,000 an hour work is your high skill work. And this is the stuff that only you can do. So this isn't going anywhere on your schedule, but it doesn't have much leverage because only you can do it. And even if you don't need a wink of sleep, you're only awake for 24 hours a day. You only have a finite amount of time per day available to you. So at most, at $1,000 an hour, you could make $24,000. But again, this is only you can do this stuff. And it's highly valuable, obviously, but it's low leverage. And I think as service providers, this is where we get stuck. And the $100 an hour, where it feels like you're getting stuff done, but it's not really moving the needle. And the $1,000 an hour, not that I made that much, but that kind of, you're paid your value for your service provided. This is what you do, this is your skill, this is your training, this is your experience, and how you're rewarded for it. But it's not clonable, it's not expandable. And as a service provider, I was always frustrated by the fact that when I took time off, my income stopped, 100%. There was no background income. I was only paid for what I did. And this is where the $10,000 an hour work fills in or makes that difference. $10,000 an hour work is work that is very high skill and high leverage. You're not, again, necessarily making $10,000 an hour, but you are setting yourself up to make $10,000 an hour in time without you having to actually be there to do it. This is not work that requires an hour of your time for an hour of pay. This is your frameworks, your systems, your flywheels, figuring out your big domino that set you up to have money, influence, abundance, whatever you're looking for, being propagated without your direct input on a moment-to-moment basis. So for me, the $1,000 an hour work here with this podcast is me coming up with and recording the podcast. $100 an hour work is me uploading the podcast, creating show notes, which again, in this 28-day sprint have not been present or have been extremely minimal, but eventually that would be $100 an hour work. Tagging everything, making Instagram posts, all those things, kind of, somewhere to $100 or $1,000 an hour work. But the $10,000 an hour work is creating my content flywheel, creating my system of education past the podcast. How do I build out a community so we are all helping each other? And how is that, again, propagating both my success, but your success past the one-to-one time that I am able to offer to the world? Even making this as a podcast versus a one-to-one consultation is part of that $10,000 an hour build out, because I'm recording this on February 16th, 2024. Somebody out there will watch this not on February 16th, 2024. Hopefully lots of people will watch this, or as I kind of figure out my message and get better at telling my stories, some version of this will be consumed in the future at whatever time somebody feels like consuming it. Maybe they'll listen to something else. Maybe they'll hop over into the bustling community that has been created at that point. But this is laying the groundwork for all of that future success, that future impact, that future abundance. So this is kind of a mix of $1,000 an hour and $10,000 an hour work. Now I want you to kind of take a look at how you spend your day and how much of your day are you spending on $10 an hour work? The stuff that you could do with a headache. How much of your day are you spending on $100 an hour work? The stuff that seems cool, like the productivity apps, the AI, the kind of tweaking your spreadsheets. And is it really moving you forward? Now, maybe it is. Maybe it actually is $10,000 an hour work because it is creating a spreadsheet that's hyper functional that, after you spend 5 hours creating it, you can only spend 15 minutes dropping data in and get amazing analysis out. Or is it going through and tweaking the color of the columns and making sure that you just really like the green that you're using and the font size? And I'm guilty of both of those things. I've definitely spent an hour making my spreadsheets look pretty because I have to look at them and I want them to look nice, but it didn't get me anything other than my own satisfaction. And again, $100 work is super seductive. And then how much is your $1,000 an hour work? Like, how much time are you taking and making your skill produce abundance and success for yourself and others? How much time do you get to do that? How much time do you really get to focus your unique impact on the world? And then do you have any time that you get to spend doing that high level work, and what are you, if you did have time for that, what would you do with it? And the second question I want you to think about is, okay, when are you best? When should you be doing your $10,000 an hour work? When should you be doing your $1,000 an hour work? And when does the other stuff slot in? Like, I'm a morning person. If I check email in the morning, I've basically wasted my entire day because I am wasting my best, most productive brain on something that doesn't take a high level brain and I hate. So it colors my whole day just based on the fact that I started doing something I don't like. So I need to do my $10,000 an hour work early. That's when my brain is best. I've just talked enough at this point in my career that I can do this around lunchtime, and that is early enough that my brain is still working, but it's not taking up my $10,000 an hour brain time. And the $100 an hour stuff kind of can slot in as it makes sense around that. Now, what if you're one of those people that is a night owl and you're up all night long and your time doesn't necessarily align with your ideal client's time? Well, a $10,000 an hour job would be solve that problem. Maybe you go after clients in Australia. Maybe you learn Japanese or find a really good Japanese translator app, a Japanese translator human, and go after Japan as your client base. But solving that, I like to produce at 3 a.m, but my clientele isn't awake at 3 a.m, that's a $10,000 an hour problem. So again, I'm going to link to the article because Khe Hy obviously explains it much better than I do. But I think it's a kind of cool question of how much are you really impacting yourself in the world per hour? And how can you arrange your day to align your best time with your biggest impact? All right, I'm going to come back and talk about another concept called flywheels. And that is definitely a $10,000 an hour concept. So tune back in for learn about the idea of a flywheel. I'm Brenna. I'm the Merch Nerd. I will see you later.